Hello everyone and welcome to Mastro Easy Learn. There is a big difference between specific heat and heat capacity. Do you know that a specific heat capacity is related to material and it's a fundamental property of matter, while the heat capacity is related to the object and it depends on its mass. In today's session, we will be talking about the concepts of a specific heat capacity of material and the heat capacity of an object. By the end of this session, you should be able to answer questions like why the temperature of some materials rise faster than others, why is the base of cooking pan or electric iron made thick, and you should be able to solve related numerical problems. Let's start with the specific heat energy equation. Here Q equal to ms delta T. So here Q is heat energy absorbed or released by the object. M is the mass of the object and delta T is change in temperature of object. And the remaining parameter S is a specific heat capacity of that material. Okay. All other three parameters are related to the object, while this parameter is related to material. So a specific heat capacity is the property of material, not the object. We are using the same equation to define the specific heat capacity of any material. So we can rewrite this equation as S equal to Q by M delta T. Now for mass of any object, when we take 1 kilogram of mass and we increase the temperature delta T by 1 degree centigrade or 1 Kelvin, then this equation becomes S equal to Q. And that is what the specific heat capacity of material. How you can phrase this mathematical expression into words? Here you can say the specific heat capacity of a material is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature by 1 degree centigrade for a mass of 1 kilogram. Okay. So a specific heat capacity of a material is nothing but the heat energy required to raise the temperature by 1 degree centigrade for 1 kilogram mass of that object, right? And it is measured in joules per kilogram per degree centigrade. That is what the unit of measure of a specific heat capacity. So we have defined the specific heat capacity of a material. Now we'll move to the heat capacity of an object. So here, using the same formula, if we take this M into as a single quantity, that is known as a heat capacity. Heat capacity of an object of mass M, whose material is with a specific heat capacity S. Okay, so I can write down the heat capacity C equal to Ms. Here C represent heat capacity of an object, which is equal to the mass of that object and multiplied by a specific heat capacity of that object. You can rewrite this equation like Q equal to C del T. And now what is C? C equal to can be written as a Q by del T. Okay. And from the above this relation, you can write down equal to M into S. So you can represent this mathematical equation or definition of heat capacity of an object. You can say the heat capacity of an object is equal to the heat energy required to raise the temperature of that object by 1 degree centigrade. So in that case, C equal to Q. So this is the definition of heat capacity of an object. And this depends on the specific heat capacity of the material and the mass of that object. Clear? So this is not a property of material. This is basically linked with the object. A specific heat capacity is the property of material. So now we can see the different variations of using this particular energy equation, and because there are multiple combinations by you can get the different type of numericals. So here, because we have Q equal to M as delta T, or this can be written as a C delta T, right? So, and the relation C equal to MS. All these relations create multiple scenarios on which the numericals can be asked to a student. So let's see what are the different variations can be created. In these parameters, they can provide you the value of heat energy supplied. They can give you the mass of that object, and they can give you the temperature increase because of that heat supplied, and they can ask you what is the specific heat capacity of that material. Okay, so you can use this equation and do it. In second scenario, they can give you the mass of the object, a specific heat of material, and the change in temperature. And they can ask you about the how much heat required to raise that temperature. In another case, they can give you Q, M, and S, and they can ask you about the change in temperature. Here, this change in temperature depends on heat energy absorbed by the object or heat energy released by the object. If it is released by the object, it's a temperature decrease. If it is absorbed by the object, the temperature is increase. Okay. So there are different type of scenarios they can create from the same equation. There is maybe one more equation. They can give you the quantity Q, mass, specific heat, and they can give you the initial temperature of the object, and they can ask you the final temperature of that object. So del T is here. Del T is nothing but T2 minus T1. So you can get that temperature as well by using the same equation. So now we can talk about the second relation here. Here they can provide you the heat energy supplied. Okay, they can give you the change in temperature of that object because of this heat supplied, and they can ask you the heat capacity of that object. They can give you the heat capacity of an object, an increase in the temperature, and they can ask you the heat energy supplied to that object. And another one, they can give you C, they can give you quantity of heat energy supply, they can give you temperature, initial temperature, and they can ask you the final temperature. So there is one more relation, which is we define the heat capacity C equal to M into S, mass of the object and a specific heat capacity of material. Here they can ask you if an object having a specific heat, they can give you a specific heat of material and mass of that object, and then directly they can ask the heat capacity of that object. Another scenario, they can give you the heat capacity of that object, mass of that object, and they can ask you the specific heat capacity of the material by which that object is made. So there are multiple scenarios they can do it, right? But again, you have to remember these three relations, okay, whatever we talk about, 1, 2 and 3. Now let's check the different characteristics of material related to the values of specific heat capacities. We can divide all the materials into two different parts. The first is higher specific heat capacity materials, and the second is lower specific heat capacity materials. Think about water. Water has high specific heat capacity of 4200 joules per kilogram per Kelvin, while the copper has a specific heat capacity of 400 joules per kilogram per Kelvin. Let's think about, we are giving the same amount of heat Q, which is equal to 4200 joules. How much temperature of this 1 kilogram of water will increase? this will increase del T equal to Q by ms, which is equal to 4200 1 kilogram, and this S is 4200, so 1 degree centigrade. What will happen into copper case? The temperature increase of copper will be 4200 divided by 1 into 400. The mass of the copper block is also 1 kg. We taken the same mass. So here increase in temperature is around 10.5 degrees centigrade. Okay, so lower specific heat capacity material temperature will increase far more than the as compared to the water. So here you see the temperature increase in copper is nearly 10 times than the temperature increase in water. Second case, we can say if we want to increase the same amount of temperature in both the cases, del T is same. Maybe let's take 2 degrees centigrade. Okay. Then what will be the amount of Q? So Q is given by ms delta T, right? Mass is 1 kilogram. Specific heat of water is 4200 and temperature increase is 2, so it will be 8400 joules energy is required. In case of water, how much energy we require? It will be 1 kilogram of copper block. The specific heat and temperature increase, it will be 800 joules. You see the energy required to raise the same temperature of 2 degrees centigrade in case of water is nearly 10 times as compared to the copper. So we can conclude on 3 different points. One is, if there is a same amount of energy Q is given, okay, the temperature increase in higher specific heat capacity material will be lower as compared to the temperature increase in lower specific heat capacity materials. If we provide the temperature increase same, the quantity of heat required in case of higher specific capacity material will be more, and here in this case it will be less. Okay? So water seems to be bad conductor of heat, because you need to give lot of heat to increase the temperature by 1 degree centigrade, while copper is good conductor of heat. Now I believe that you are in position to answer the questions like why we have thicker base for electric iron, or why we have thicker base in our cooking pans. Thicker base means more mass. More mass means more heating capacity. More heat capacity means slow rate of temperature rise, and slow rate of temperature rise means more uniform temperature in the base of pan or in electric iron. Now if we switch off the electric iron or cut off the energy to the cooking pan, the drop in temperature is also slow because of high heat capacity of these bases, and that makes sure your food remains hot or warm for a longer time. Now it is a time for 3 conceptual questions based on our today's learning. Here are those 3 questions. Try them and see if you can answer. The answers to these questions are there in description box below here. I hope you would have enjoyed today's session. If you think you have learned something new today, please click like button and subscribe us for similar type of videos. In our next session, we'll talk about the calorimeter and the principle of calorimetry. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.